Hi, I'm Sean.
And I'm Alicia.
We're a couple from Toronto, Canada, moving to Chelmsford in the United Kingdom.
Follow our journey as we experience the ups and downs of living abroad.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, we have now officially been here for 3 months.
How crazy is that, honestly?
I know, time flies.
It feels like just yesterday we were in our terrible little quarantine apartment. I hated that thing so much.
Yeah, I'm not missing it very much.
So by now, if you follow us on YouTube, there's a good chance you follow us on either TikTok or Instagram as well. And if that's the case, you may have seen one of these two videos.
Yeah, and these videos were actually really great, gave us a lot of traction on both platforms, and people were reaching out to us and just kind of wanting to know, I guess, a little more detail about, why we came here, how things are going, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so today is a very rainy day in Essex, and we figured this was the perfect opportunity to kind of sit down and have a conversation and just fill you in on how things have been in the last 3 months.
Yep. So for those of you that might be new to the channel, just kind of a quick recap of kind of how we got here. So we started this whole journey back kind of in mid-2019.
Yeah, so by the time we got here, we arrived March 1st, 2021, but the whole thing took almost 2 years.
Yeah, so like at that time I'd asked my work about getting a transfer over here because, we wanted to have that experience.
Travel, yeah.
Travel a little bit.
We've always joked about living abroad, and that's just because we love traveling so much, and it's just really difficult in Canada because it's so expensive to
and
find.
Far.
Yeah, it's just like, between all of that, it makes it really hard to travel in Canada or leave the country, especially since you only get 2 weeks holiday a year.
Yeah, so having the 5 weeks here as a minimum has been
It's
amazing.
been nice. So then when Sean asked his work, they were really helpful, and then COVID happened.
Yeah, so, timelines kept getting pushed back, understandably, and at points we weren't sure if this was actually going to happen or not, or
Yeah, it was a difficult journey in and of itself, and then late 2020 was when they were kind of like, you're going, you just don't know when.
Yeah, and then January they were basically like, okay, yep, you're coming in 2 months, get everything ready. It's like, okay.
Yeah, so if you want any more information on that, let me know. We can make a video. We just don't know if you want to know about it. But yeah, then we got here, we did our 10-day quarantine in our, again, terrible accommodation.
Yeah, there's a whole video about that if you want to check that out. It's interesting.
Yeah, and we were there for a little bit over a month, and then we came to our new place, which we love.
Yes, it's been great, and there's also a video kind of giving you a tour of our new place as well. Yeah, we're really loving it so far, especially compared to our tiny little place in Toronto before.
So that's been good. And our timeline, although it was a little bit weird, it worked out in the sense of when we got here, like into our new place, that's when things really started opening. So luckily for us, things are pretty much open now. We went on a trip to the Cotswolds. Like, we have a lot of freedom to do things, which I know our Canadian friends back home are still in lockdown.
Still struggling, but at least things are looking up for you guys, so fingers crossed.
So if you have any questions about our journey, just send us a message on Instagram. We can let you know, but hopefully that fills you in.
So obviously we came here because of my work, so I'm on like a sponsorship visa, so basically my company sponsored me to come here and I'm working for them. And that's kind of how my visa works.
In opposite, I'm on a working holiday visa, which means that I didn't come with a job, but I have a lot more flexibility in terms of like what I do for work, or even I could not work. I want to work though, I'm so bored. But because of that, we've had very different journeys when it comes to work since being here.
So I would say for me, the biggest challenge has just been sort of adjusting to the new job. So I'm still with the same company that I worked with back in Canada, and I'm doing kind of the same job. It's just, you'd expect that a company would have similar systems as a global company, but unfortunately when you come here, learn there's some new systems I had to learn, and the job description's a little different. So that's been a bit of a challenge, especially, being that I've been working from home literally for the last year, and of course since I got here, I haven't really been able to have that in-office training that I would have liked. And I finally just met my coworkers like 2 weeks ago because everything was starting to open up. So, I'm hoping that as I get to go in the office and actually interact in person with my coworkers, it'll, get a little better. But there have been some challenges, but overall the job has still been good and I've been enjoying it so far.
So my journey with work has been a little bit less exciting, I guess, or just more complicated, I guess is a better word. So when we first got here, right before we left actually, I started going back to school to kind of do social media marketing and stuff like that, and I was finishing some courses while we were in quarantine. So that first month I was hopping on like Zoom calls at midnight just to get coursework done, which was awful. And then from that, I spent that time converting my resume to a CV and all of that stuff. And then when we arrived in this place, that's when I officially could start job hunting. So it's been about 2 months now that I've been job hunting, and it's been an awful process. So I apply to at least 5 jobs a day, and I've had quite a few interviews now, which has been great. And one place actually offered me a job, but I don't know, it just kind of seems sketchy. Like the whole process was a little bit weird, and it took them a really long time to send me my contract. Like I'm still waiting for it. So I don't think I'm gonna take that job, and I am interviewing with some other places. But I think it's difficult because sometimes, although I've been very forthcoming about my visa, sometimes in interviews they ask me about it and you can just tell that their demeanor changes, or they're like hesitant, even though I know all of the answers and like what that means for work. So it's just been difficult, and I'm trying to find a job. I just don't really want to settle for something that I'm going to be unhappy with, because my last job I absolutely loved. It was so perfect for me, and I just want to find something that I love again.
So obviously our main motivation for coming here was to travel. But that obviously has been a little bit harder because of COVID right now.
Yeah, so COVID's very much alive and thriving more than anyone, but the international borders are starting to open, which is really like exciting.
Encouraging, yeah.
But for us, because we're not vaccinated, it just doesn't seem wise to like take advantage of that.
Yeah, we're still kind of waiting here. You know, it's a little unfortunate because, you know, when we came here, the UK was really far ahead in the vaccines, and we were figuring we'll get our vaccine here before we ever would in Canada, but Ontario at least has specifically picked things up, and now actually most of our friends have had their first dose and we're still waiting.
Yeah, so honestly, like I don't want to sound ungrateful, because obviously we're very grateful to be here, but it's just a bit discouraging at times, because we know if we were still in Toronto we would have at least gotten our first dose by now, which it just kind of sucks, because right now in Ontario it's frustrating because everyone seems to be getting vaccinated, which is amazing, but they're still in lockdown.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's the opposite, where like people in our age demographic and younger are not being vaccinated yet, but everything's open.
Yeah, I mean even like indoor dining is open now and everything. So it's yeah, it's kind of a trade-off, I guess, right? I mean, we get the benefits of a little more freedom, but because we're not vaccinated, we're kind of not taking as much advantage of that as we maybe would be.
Yeah, maybe we're just overly paranoid, but like there have been people who have asked us if we want to like meet up and go to a pub and stuff like that, and like in theory that seems amazing, but it's just the fear of it all.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, but it's been great because the health services like the NHS here do give free like lateral flow tests for COVID to take at home.
Yeah, so basically we just go to the pharmacy, ask for a package, and you know, we take one every other day just to sort of like keep an eye on things, because I mean we are going out, we're mixing among people because it's inevitable right now, so we're just kind of, you know, be better safe than sorry, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but with that said, we do have the opportunity to go and explore some of the UK. So at this point we've been into London twice now.
Yep, couple day trips there.
Yeah, and then our last week video was actually us in the Cotswolds, so you may have seen that too.
Yeah, so that was a nice little road trip for a couple days, and you know, we figure, you know, if we're gonna be quote unquote stuck in the UK for the summer, we might as well take advantage. I mean, it is our new home, so we're hoping to do maybe 1 or 2 more road trips this summer. We've got
at least 1 or 2 more road
yeah,
trips.
we've got a beach day planned in July, so we're looking forward to like a couple little domestic trips this year, I guess, if nothing else.
Yeah, like our list of places we want to check out in the UK is overwhelmingly long, and the great thing about all the people who have reached out to us is that a lot of them have been local, so they keep suggesting more places, which makes our list even longer, but it's been great. We have so many things that we want to see.
Yeah, so again, travel will hopefully towards the back half of this year or 2022 we'll start getting out there a little more, but
yeah, we'll keep our hopes up for that.
Yeah.
So something we get asked probably the most is how we deal with like homesickness, but most importantly just missing our loved ones.
Yeah, so I mean obviously being halfway across the world, and we've got a 5-hour time difference, so it is tough to sometimes make time to talk with our friends and family back home.
Yeah, and then on top of that, just trying to make friends in the new country as well. So how in the heck do you make friends in a new country? That is a great question. I wish I knew the answer to that as well. But it's been kind of nice because through social media, a lot of people have reached out to us, mainly me though, and kind of offered to be friends or show us around London and stuff like that, which has been amazing. And it's been really great for me to like connect to people, especially since I'm doing a lot of the social media stuff for our accounts. Having other girls in London or other people who have moved countries reach out, it's so nice, and it makes me feel like there's this like hidden little community that I've somehow found myself in. And it's been great, and I've had some people just be like, hey, here's some information about me, do you think we'd click? So I am in the process of kind of trying to like build these friendships and relationships. And I also just yesterday downloaded like Bumble BFF, which I guess is like a dating app that you can use to find friends. I don't know. Sean and I met on Tinder though, so like if that can work, this can hopefully work. So just kind of utilizing social media to my advantage to kind of build friendships and like just putting myself out there. Like I would never do stuff like this in Toronto, but it's been great to have like to be forced to do it here. But on the opposite side of the coin, something that I've experienced a lot is just like missing my friends back home. And in some ways it was kind of beneficial, like COVID, because although I was still in Canada, my friends and I had to like use FaceTime and like house party and stuff to communicate because we couldn't see each other, and even if we could see each other, we didn't live in the same city. So I'm used to kind of like doing video chatting with them, which has made it easier. So in that sense, the main issue I've been having is the time change. So again, like they're in Toronto or that area, which is 5 hours behind. So when they're finishing work and like have like drama or gossip that they want to share with me, I'm usually asleep. So I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, okay, I missed out on a lot, which sucks. But then at the same token, I'll wake up super early for them. Like if I'm up at 8, that's like, they're definitely asleep. So how do I share my information with them? And it got to the point where the first month I was really struggling because I would just wait to reply, and like I think they were doing the same thing of like, I can't message her, she's sleeping. But I had a conversation with them and be like, you know what, just message me whenever. And that's really helped because at least I know that they feel that they can send me these messages and I'm not missing out just because of the time difference.
So for myself, I've had probably a little bit of an opposite experience to Alicia. I mean, guys, you know, speaking as a guy myself, guys aren't typically ones to like reach out on social media and stuff like that. So it's been a little bit harder for me, you know, just trying to find some buddies that I can go to the pub and have a couple pints with, right? I mean, I'm also more of a kind of in-person friend maker. Like I love just like, when I'm traveling, I'll go to a pub and just like try to chat with people, or like go to a hostel and I'll start chatting with people that are there, right? So for me, that's been a bit of a challenge. You know, back home as well, like most of my friends back home are people I've known since I was like 4 or 5 years old. So, you know, I'm struggling a little bit to make new friends. You know, my buddies and I back home have a lot of like inside jokes and stuff like that. And so when I'm not around, I miss out on some of the newer inside jokes, which like I knew coming here that was gonna be the case, but it's kind of hard, right? You're going through the group chat and you see these jokes and you don't really know the context behind them. So yeah, I mean, overall, it's been an interesting experience. I might also try the Bumble BFF thing. I don't know how well that's gonna work, how many guys are gonna be on there, but you know, looking for options here. So yeah, it's all right. I mean, I know once I get back into the office, it'll be easier as well to make some friends and some work contacts and stuff like that.
So another huge question we get asked all the time is, how are we adjusting?
Yeah, so you know, we expected obviously there was going to be lots of differences coming here. I mean, you're moving halfway across the world to a new country, new culture. Of course, there's going to be things that you're going to have to live with, right?
Yeah, and like one of the main reasons why we wanted to come to the UK specifically was because we figured that the shocks and like the differences would be minimal, especially because of the language. And we were prepared for the big things. Like we knew about like driving on the left.
Yeah, you know, slightly different accents, different words for things. I mean,
it's a different culture, it's a different country. Like we knew that these things were gonna happen. The thing that we weren't prepared for is like the small adjustments.
Yeah, it's kind of the stuff that you don't really think about. So like,
or like don't know exist at all, or like you expect. For example, when we first moved in here and I started unpacking all my hair stuff, I do my hair and makeup in the bathroom, and then there's no outlets in the bathroom. So where am I supposed to straighten my hair?
Yeah, or like going to the grocery store and looking for eggs and realizing, oh yeah, they don't refrigerate their eggs here, so they're beside the sugar, they're not in the refrigerated area.
Yeah, so it's all things that like day to day they don't affect us like long term obviously, but like they're things that we just stumble over, I guess, because we just weren't prepared for them at all. So at the end of the day, I think we're adjusting pretty well.
Yeah, honestly, can say we have really no regrets about coming here. We're still happy.
Yeah, and all the major adjustments, like for me, finding a job, that would be difficult wherever, especially because of COVID. But the other big hurdles, like finding friends and then just dealing with COVID, like we knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. And I think as COVID starts to ease up, we'll start to make friends and work will figure itself out. Yeah, so it's just one extra thing to add, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, so thanks for following along with us on our journey. And as always, like if you have any questions or just want to like say hello, or if you want to be our friends or give us recommendations, like please send us messages on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that.
Yeah, and please be sure to like and subscribe. We love making these videos and we're hoping to add some more down the line here. So until next time, guys, thank you.
Oh, we are all